We're going to introduce our speaker, Claudia-Jean. She is a master facilitator, a national professional speaker, and exceptional communication, SME. She is the owner of CJ Consulting, the creator of the Chat Communication System, and founder of a nationally recognized nonprofit foundation. Claudia-Jean is a deeply passionate teacher and has worked in a variety of settings from prisons to boardrooms. One common denominator she has discovered in communication is a challenge across the board, regardless of position or title. The heart of her work is this: when you choose to communicate authentically and listen for solutions, we inadvertently change the world one conversation at a time. Claudia-Jean is a contributor to local magazines, radio, and TV, and is a much sought-after professional speaker, trainer, and subject matter expert. She's a proud member of both the National Speakers Association and Toastmasters, but her greatest accomplishment is being mom to her sons, Nick and Jason. So let's give a warm welcome to Claudia-Jean.
Hi. Hi. Oh, wait, did they tell you this was interactive? Oh, good. Let's try that again. Hi. Hi. Oh, okay, good. Coffee setting in. All right, fantastic. So I have a few disclaimers I'd like to share with you right up front. You may have noticed I have a thick Alabama accent. Thank you to the one person who laughed at that. Fantastic. Now, from time to time, I've also been known to have a disease called human, and I have made grammatical errors while I'm speaking. So I'm just going to throw that up front. Another disclaimer that I'd like to tell you about is, who knows this person? Shamu. What is Shamu known for? I'm sorry? He's known for chatting? Splashing people at SeaWorld. Specifically where? In the front row. Oh, look, they're like, whoops, don't worry, girl. See, Shamu only has a splash zone of the front row. I am wireless. So if you sat back here today because you thought I wouldn't be able to come get you, I'm sorry, today's not your day. You're all part of my splash zone, because I am the splash zone. All right. How many of you, raise your hand if you can relate to this, how many of you have ever had an amazing idea? You went, right? Yeah, pay attention, people are always showing you who they are, right? You have an amazing idea. You're very excited about it. You run to Martin and you say, Martin, I have this amazing idea. And then you tell it to him and he looks at you like this. And in your head you hear crickets. And as you walk away, you're like, wonder what his problem is today. Anybody relate to that? No, I'm alone? Oh, there you are. Okay, fantastic. Interactive, remember? Okay. You want to see what happened? Can I show you an example of what happened in that conversation? All right, excellent. What do you see? 6. You see the 6? Upside down 9. Oh, there's always somebody in the boat, in the room showboating, an upside down 9. Okay. What if it is a 9? What do you see now? Upside down 6. Of course. Of course. Of course you do. So I'm confused. Do you see the 6 or the 9? You see them both. Huh. Now, you're looking at the same thing, but from a different perspective, and you can't decide whether it's a 6 or a 9. Nobody told me I was going to compete with the train today. Oh, okay. What if I put a simple line underneath it? Now what do you see? It's a 6. You're very adamant about that, Martin. Why?
Because the convention is if you underline it, that's the correct way up.
Ah, now where'd you learn that from? England. That's the first time I've ever had that response. What'd you say?
I just simply said where everything's the right way up.
Oh, he said England, where everything is the right way up. Just so, for those of you who couldn't hear. I guess he's proud. Where have you learned that from?
Course of the elementary school.
Elementary school. Elementary school. I had one lady tell me that she actually learned it playing Uno. Right? So the line is what actually defines which way it goes. We learned this in school. It is what we call an equalizer. Now, what if there was an equalizer in communication? What would that look like if we could actually understand where we are both coming from when you're talking to somebody and that you understand that it's not personal? What would that look like in your world? Tonality. It would look like what? Tonality. Tonality. Okay. It happens in your own mind. Yes, she said it's often if they don't receive, they don't get your idea, you make it personal. And it is true. I tell people everything that I teach you is all a matter of you changing the way you think. And it's absolutely free. Now, I want you to pay attention because as we're playing together today, everybody is showing you who they are constantly. Are you receiving it? See, what happens is we usually communicate what our needs are, but we're not actually listening to receiving what somebody else's needs are. And when you can meet somebody where they are, magic happens. So I'm going to get you to be just enough dangerous today. Is that okay? All right, so chat is that equalizer in communication. Chat is going to teach you how to talk to anybody about anything at any time in order for you to be more productive, profitable, and peaceful in your world. How does that sound? Sounds awesome. I'm going to give you a quick demo of a tool that I use in my master classes or coaching with my clients or in one of my trainings. I need 2 volunteers. Where are you? Somebody who I have not spoken to this morning. The reason that I don't want you, because if I, yes, sir, you, please come to the front of the room. And no, Carl and I had a very in-depth conversation. I already know who Carl is. So it wouldn't be fair. I have to do this from not knowing you. All right, where's my second volunteer? All right, young man. All right. Vern, can you do me a favor? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give them these cards. It has a couple of words. I'm going to ask them to organize these words. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you all about them. Now, either I'm going to look like a sure genius here, or this is going to be your shortest meeting ever. All right? So come over here, gentlemen. Now listen. This is not a head exercise. This is a gut exercise. Let me get you a pen. Let me get you a pen. So I need you to stay in your gut, not your head. Understand? On there are 4 groups of words. Each group contains 2 words. I need you to look down, find the group you love the most, and put a number 1 next to that. Ready, set, go.
Pen doesn't work. Oh, there it is.
Oh, you're trying to make me look bad already? Jeez Louise.
Working on it.
All right, don't study that card. I see you, Bob. All right, you ready? Now I want you have 3 groups left. Each group has 2 words. I want you to look down and find the group that is your least favorite and put a number 4 next to that, please. Okay. Now you have 2 groups left. I want you to look down and find the group that is your second favorite, put a number 2 next to that. All right, then obviously the last one's number 3. Now that took less than a minute, would you say? It might have felt like eternity to you guys, but it was less than a moment, right? All right, write your name on the card there for me. Because they participated today, I'm going to send them their complimentary communication style report after the meeting. I know, the rest of you are like, I would have done it, too late. All right, Bob. Oh, they even gave me my pens back. All right, Bob, I'm gonna start with you, is that okay?
Wonderful.
Anybody know Bob in the room? Oh, geez. All right, I'm really under pressure today. All right, so Bob, what this tells me about you is that you're a big picture thinker. And if I give you a bunch of information, if I'm going to be working with you and I want you to buy into my way of thinking, I would give you all my research and data behind my big picture, and then I would leave it with you for a couple of days and then follow up to see if you had any questions. if I bog you down with too many do's and don'ts, I'm not your favorite person. Would that be accurate?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So thank you. Who in the room knows Bob? Would you say that's an accurate description of him?
Yeah.
The one thing I forgot to mention is he also gets the bigger picture, but he's all about helping community as well. Is that even closer? Yeah. And he's the kind of person that will ask for forgiveness after, because he doesn't really care for your rules. Sound good? Getting better? All right, so I just told you all about Bob in less than 60 seconds. So if I'm working with Bob, I know that I need to give Bob all my research and data. I need to have my big picture in mind when I come to him. I need to give him time to come to his own conclusion, whether my theory is correct or not correct. It might even sound like he's taking it on as his own thought, right? And that's not it. Once he's done the research and has come to a decision, it actually becomes his thought. Does that make sense? All right, give Bob a big round of applause. Is it Cy?
Sigh.
All right, Cy. I like that name, Cy.
Sigh. All right.
All right. Basically, what I just said about Bob is Cy. Is that accurate?
Pretty much.
Are you going to be best friends with Bob now?
No, I need a little more data.
Yeah, you need to. You need to research that, right? Well, that was really easy. I got two of the same communication styles. Fantastic. Very interesting.
Want to talk about kids?
Not really.
Okay.
Pay attention. I'm telling you who I am. Right? So
Right.
did you resonate with that?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Who in the room knows Cy? Okay. Do you believe that that also could go for him as well? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And did we ever meet before today?
I think so.
We did?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez. Like, really? Should I apologize now? All right, give Cy a big round of applause. So that was a quick demonstration, right? And what it does is it actually opens up a line of communication so you can meet people where you are. I was talking to Carl earlier, and Carl was saying, I have this really great product, but the problem is I can't get in front of people. I was like, well, tell me about the types of people that you're interacting with. What are they saying to you? And so we talked about that, and I was like, if they're this kind of communication style like a Cy, you want to tell Cy the big picture of why your services can help him. And then you want to give him all your research and data. And instead of spending 30 minutes telling him about the research and data, you actually want to give it to him. And then you want to say, Cy, can I call you in a couple of days to see if you have any questions? And he'll say yes. And then you call him back. And then you ask him if he has any questions. And then you shut up. Because he'll tell you what he needs. And if he doesn't need anything, he's already made his decision. A person like Cy or Bob, if you try to make them make a decision, you back them into a corner, they will never do business with you again. Is that accurate, gentlemen? Bob? Yes? Yeah, see, he's a little bit more, they're both harmony, so they're like, yeah, probably. I'm not sure. Because they have harmonies as their secondary, right? So they're like, well, maybe everybody deserves a second chance. All right, is that better? All right, I see. I had to catch myself. All right, so let's move on. Already did that. I'm going to tell you that CHAT is an acronym. It's an acronym for the 4 communication styles. Here's what you need to know. I believe that you are all 4 communication styles already within yourself. I believe that you can move in and out of the communication styles as you choose to. And I'm going to prove my point here. If the fire alarm went off in this building right now, what would you do? Get up and walk out. Who said scream? All right, thank you for actually being honest, because the more honest you are, the more we'll have bigger aha moments together. So thank you. He said he's going to scream. You're going to calmly walk out. Okay, pay attention. People are always talking to you who they are. What are you going to do?
I'm going to pull the fire alarm.
You're going to help people. Pay attention.
Pull the fire alarm.
You're going to pull the fire alarm because there's a system. You're calling the fire department. There's another system. He's screaming, okay?
I'm gonna sit and look around and see how urgent the matter is.
She's going to take in the big picture. Is that what you just said? See? You're going to do a little research.
I don't research.
Yeah, she's just going to observe and see what has to happen. But you're all jumped into some kind of action in that moment. Now, you're doing that because you're reacting to a situation. Now, what if you could choose to jump in and out of your communication styles by choice? What if you could walk up to any person and have a conversation with them, and when you walk away, they think that you are the best conversation that they ever had because you get them? See, we want to do business with people who get us. And the way that you get people is by understanding who they are. Sound good? You ready to dive deeper? Just enough to make you dangerous today. All right. C. Oh, one last thing. I believe that all communication styles bring something specific to the table, and that everybody has a purpose. And that in order for us to truly experience success in life is to learn how to engage all four communication styles. All right? So everybody's important. Everybody brings a special, even though that... So one of the things I forgot to tell you, so I'm going to back up for a moment, is you have a primary and a secondary communication style. With both Cy and Bob, they prefer to have big picture and connection. That's their primary and secondary, okay? Their least favorite was they don't really like rules. That's their biggest opportunity for growth. Because the more that they can embrace that communication style, it opens up their world by 25%. Now, when you think about it, when you're working and you are only working at 75% capacity, and if I meet you and you're my biggest opportunity for growth and I ignore you, because when you walk in the room, I'm like, there he is, there's that Martin, oh gosh, Dorothy, make me look busy because I don't want to talk to Martin. You're all laughing because you all know what I'm talking about. You've done it. You have your fourth communication preference, which is your biggest opportunity for growth, right? And so what happens is, because I don't want to talk to Martin, they say in business that behind every one person is 100 people. Now, I take that 100 people and I multiply it by 100 people. And for the big picture thinkers, you keep that going. That's a 25% increase just by learning how to adapt to your biggest opportunity, which is your least favorite communication style. If you're off balance, you have potential to grow even bigger. Make sense? All right. So I'm going to do a quick overview, and then I'm going to jump into some examples so you can see how this applies. All right? All right, so the C stands for the creatives. These are the people who are the big picture thinkers. These are the people like Bob and Cy that actually need to understand the big picture. Often they'll ask you, do you see what I'm talking about? And you're like, do I see what you're talking about? For some communication styles, they're like, see. And for them, they see the bigger picture. So when you think about Mozart, right, who saw beautiful music, symphonies, or you think about chefs who can imagine what an end plate looks like, or artists. I walk up to a piece of marble and I see, geez, there's a beautiful angel trapped in there. Let me start to chisel that out. Right? Or people like Elon Musk. Big vision, Steve Jobs. But I don't want you to just think the technical people, because they're not the only people who have vision. And remember, you already have this in you. It just depends upon where it is right now for you. The idea is to become fluent in all four so that you can talk to anybody about anything at any time. Now, these people, they often sit in the back of the room. They might appear cold or aloof, and they just observe. Now, Diane is a fellow speaker, right? Have you ever been in a room, Diane, where you just get the blank faces and you're like, I'm giving you everything I got, right? And then later on, they're like, that was the best speech ever. And you're like, really? Because I felt nothing, right? So those are those people. What they're doing is they're taking in the information and the data and they're trying to see the bigger picture. Got it? All right. Now the harmony people. These are the people who love love. They want us all to get along. They want to sing Kumbaya. No, I'm only kidding. These are the people that have a really hard time saying no. They're often the volunteers and the cheerleaders. You got this. You can do it. Right? One of the things that I want to share with you, if you're networking or in your office, if you have somebody, I'm going to get the mic. If you have somebody in your office that every time they shake your hand, you feel like you're shaking hands, I'm going to pick you. Is that okay? Will you play today? Hi, what's your name?
Jerry.
Jerry. All right, Jerry. You and I are going to shake hands.
Oh.
I want you to describe to everybody how it feels when I shake your hand.
Okay.
Now, this is not always true. This is sometimes true. Can you stand up with me?
Sure.
And can you look at that handsome man back there?
Hey, handsome man.
Wave to Michael.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Michael. Okay. So I love it when people
Gotta
play. Okay. So I'm going to shake your hand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's what I that's what I'm
Gotta
giving
work
you.
on that.
Okay? Or I might do this to her.
Oh, we're just doing elbow bumps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
That's a little different. You're anti-germy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am anti-derby. So how did that feel shaking my hand?
Less than adequate. You're a little shy.
Yes.
You seem a little backward, a little
shy.
maybe.
Okay. Creatives. They often sometimes are germaphobes and they prefer not to be touched. So if you find somebody and they, in the professional, we're conditioned in a professional setting to do the handshake, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're forced to do the handshake, it's just like, oh yeah, please stop.
Get it over with.
Hurry up. Okay? If they're forced to do that. In some cases, not always. There's resonation in the room. That's what that is, by the way. Right? You know somebody? Yeah, I bet you do. Thank you. Give Jerry a big round of applause. What's your name?
Cindy.
All right. Cindy, stand up and look at the camera for me. Now, Cindy, you were just laughing.
Yes,
How come?
because just recently there was a couple of customers, and especially one that was saying how she'd just gotten over a cold, and she's going, and she goes, nice to meet you. And I was like, I did that little thing like a creative, like, oh, okay. Couldn't wait to get my little sanitizer out to wipe my hand off.
Interesting. Very good. Thank you for sharing. See, this is where the magic happens. Give her a big round of applause. All right, let's see. You,
Yes.
would you play?
Yes.
Fantastic. So here's your mic. We're going to shake hands.
All right.
I'm going to try to hug you,
All right.
and you're and you're not going to let me.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
But don't hurt me. I once said that to a guy. He was super competitive, and I was like, "Ow, James! Easy. I'm fragile. Okay? I can handle my own because I'm from New York.
Okay.
All right? But don't make me go there in front of people.
Okay.
Trying to be professional today." All right, you ready?
Yes.
So we're at a networking event, and your name is George. Not yet, George. All right, George. I turn around. I'm like, there's George! Oh my God, there's George! Yay! Hi, George!
Hello.
No, George. No.
How do you do?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
I still got you anyhow, George. Thanks for playing, but I won.
Well, okay.
I'm hugging you. I'm a hug shake.
Ah. Lovely.
I've hug shaked you. Do you see what I'm doing?
Yep, you've got both sides of the hand.
I got both. Give him the mic for a second. Say it again.
You have both sides of the hand.
I have both sides of his hand. So although he stopped me from actually hugging him, I still came in to make my connection. This is how a harmony greets you. So if they can't hug you, they will do this at some point. The other thing that they will do is while we're talking, okay, ready?
Yes.
Oh, George, that's so good. Oh my goodness, George. Stop it, you're killing me. Oh my gosh. George, George, do you know David? George, do you know David? David,
We've yet
you
to meet.
need to meet George. You guys need to meet because George has this phenomenal product and David's this awesome dude and you guys need to do business. Oh, whoop, there's somebody else. All right, so that's your harmonies. That's how they greet. They're all about creating community. They want people to get along. With a harmony person on your team, you want to make them feel like they're part of the team. You want to create community for them. If this is somebody who you're trying to do business with, you want to take them into your office and introduce them to your team. You want to take a genuine interest in them. Don't fake it. If you can't find something where you align with them, don't try to be inauthentic about it. They pick it up and they will not introduce you to anybody. But win over a harmony and keep balance with them, and you have an advocate. Because they know a lot of people and they love to connect. They are born to do that. Does that make sense? But they also have the problem of not saying no, and sometimes they can have some boundary issues. So they say yes all the time, and I know because I'm a recovering harmony, okay? And I used to go home and be like, I never have time for myself. It's like, hello, learn a word. It's called no. You know, I had to get real comfortable with saying no. And at first I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And then I'd walk away and go, oh gosh, should I do it? Should I do it anyhow? Because I feel bad. I just said no. She probably doesn't like me anymore. Oh my goodness, I'm so upset right now. They really have a hard time with saying no. I want to share a story about that too. But we'll get through this. So the action people, these are the movers and shakers. These are the people that shoot from their gut. These are the people who say, I'll just do it. It's easier to ask for forgiveness. These are the people that if you're trying to set up an appointment with them and they keep canceling on you, is because you're trying to take away their freedom in their perspective. They value freedom over anything else. So the moment that you try to make them fit into a box is the moment they shut down. Does that make sense? All right, excellent. You want to play?
I always play.
All right, come on down. What's your name?
Dan.
Dan. Nice to meet you, Dan. All right. Dan, this is for you. And Dan, you and I are going to greet each other with a high five. We're at a networking event, and we're going to do a high five. You ready? Look towards Michael. All right, you stand over there. We're going to come at each other. I want you to give me a high five, and I really want you to embrace your action communication style right now. Like, really bring it, because they're all counting on you. Right? You want to see Dan bring his action? Give him a little encouragement.
Hey,
All right. Ready?
where you been all my life?
Woo! Where I've been all my life. That's spoken like a true action. I love it. All right, one more. We're going to do a fist pump. Notice I turned my ring around for you so I don't hurt you. A fist pump, yeah.
Oh.
I want you to blow it up. Okay, you got that?
Hey, man.
All right.
Great to see you. Oh, wow.
Nope, you failed. You got to blow it up. Ready, Dan? There you go. Give Dan a big round of applause. So the action communication style, they don't like to be put into boxes. You'll hear them speak a lot about their freedom. They often want to get to the point. When harmony people want to make like a connection and they're talking to an action person, the harmony person will be like, how are you? And they're like, fine. Blah, blah, blah. Right? And the harmony person's like, I think my feelings are hurt. Right? And this is where the miscommunication, this is where the 6 and 9 comes into play. Because the action person just wants to get to the point so they can get on to their next task, and the harmony person wants to make a connection. Now, the harmony person's upset because they feel like the action person doesn't like them. And the action person's like, this harmony person's too sensitive, and they're driving me crazy. Why can't they just answer my questions? 6 and 9, 6 and 9, 6 and 9. But if I want to do business with somebody, meeting them where they are and recognizing that they need to have that personal connection before I can even get my questions answered, if I invest on the front end and say, I'm doing great, how are you doing today? How's that beautiful puppy of yours? Fantastic. I just have one simple question for you. And then the harmony person's like, okay, what? Because they want to please now. The connection is met. It takes seconds. Yet we're so focused on getting what we need, we forget what somebody else needs. And when we give somebody else what they need, we actually get what we want faster. It's not manipulation, it's about meeting people where they are. Does that make sense? All right. The templates. These are the people who love rules and regulations. Their number one priority is feeling secure. That is their number one priority. They need to feel secure. These are the types of people, Carl, that will not leave their current practice for a few pennies. What they do is you got to show them how you are more reliable, you offer more security, you're going to save them more money. They will not leave for a few pennies. They're very loyal. So if you can win them over, they are great advocates to have because people trust them. And the reason people trust them is because they're very hard to prove to that you've earned their respect. Now, their job is often people say, oh, they're the type of people who have a problem for every solution. They can appear to be somewhat negative, and they can appear to be a little intimidating to some people. That's not the truth. Their job is to identify where the system is weak and make it better. That is their job. That's what they bring to all of us. And without rules and regulations, what would our society look like? Again, this is where it goes back to everybody has a specific purpose. Every communication style is important, right? All right. Let's see. Hi. She's writing. She says, I'm coming to you. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right, would you play?
I would.
What's your name?
Janice.
Janice.
Okay.
Here you go, Janice. Janice, come over here so Michael can see you.
Okay.
All right.
Michael.
And you and I are going to shake hands very professionally.
Okay.
This is, anybody familiar with Dirty Dancing? Anybody in the room? This is my space, that's your space. This is my space, that's your space. Okay, fantastic. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I prepped you enough?
And you prepped me.
Okay. See, it's very professional. They want you to be professional, they want you to look professional, they want you to act professional. They want you to be professional. In fact, even on their days off, they're dressed professionally, but casual. Does that make sense? Okay. Give her a big round of applause. She got the easy one. Now, I'm going to come to you. What's your name? No, I meant you.
Christian.
Christian, stand up. It's your first time here, Christian, so you're welcome.
Thank you.
Christian. All right. So you're very big. You're very tall. All right. I didn't calculate that in before I picked on him. Okay. Christian.
Ma'am.
I'm going to shake your hand. We're going to shake like you're a template.
Okay.
Which means very professional, your space, my space. And I'm going to be in action who has to conform to the regular handshake in the workplace. Okay? Now don't make fun of me because I am going to try to, like,
Okay.
All right? All
So I
right.
can take it.
Nice to meet you, Kristen. How's it going today?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, did I hurt you at all?
Not at all.
Okay, fantastic. See, when an action communication style is forced into being professional, they're very competitive, so they will come in for that handshake to let you know, like, I am here. And I'm shaking your hand like this because I can't do what I want to do. Because society says I can't. Right? This is why we have people have road rage. We all laugh, but actually it's the truth. Give Christian a big round of applause. All right. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. Does anybody have a burning communication question or a challenge in their current work that I can answer right now, or I'll throw out a few of my own? Okay. Hold on.
How does cultural differences play into these styles? Because different cultures, even though they may be a template, they're going to greet you as an action.
Yes, that is true. So cultural styles do play a difference in this because it goes back to, and we have our own here. We have our own cultural style here of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and that's what I called conditioning. So often when people come and take my master training or do something like that, they come in thinking they're one thing and they go out knowing that they're really not. And they feel much more at peace when they recognize who they really are. And it comes from our conditioning within our culture. So yes, it does impact it. But what I want you to do is pay attention because people always tell you who they are. That's why when somebody comes to my class, I can say, they write something down, their communication language, and I'm like, mm-hmm. You write it down, I'm like, I see you might be more open to having that conversation. I'll let you know why I disagree with you. She might not be ready to have that conversation. I'm going to call you out on that. So you have to meet people where they are. Some people are not ready to have that information either. And so you just meet them. If you recognize, oh, they're doing this behavior, then just modify yourself for that. Okay? You got another question?
Yes.
I don't know.
I know.
You're the man with the bacon.
Everybody else is worried too. But meanwhile, since most of our communication, unfortunately, is not face-to-face, and
Yes.
you don't always understand where they are, how do you, through text or email, understand what they're trying to say?
Ooh, I feel like I planted you today. Fantastic. Okay, so I know I do. I feel like I planted him. I couldn't ask for a better question. I work with an organization that works with people who are visually challenged. They've either lost their sight or they have impairments. One of their challenges when they brought me on board to work with them was that I had to learn how to adapt my system to meet the needs of their clientele. I did, which opened up a whole new area for me. Where is Dorothy? Dorothy and I were talking about this earlier of how do you identify them over the phone or in email. It's just like when I work with my visually impaired clients. They hear, they listen. So when they go in, they're participating in job training programs, okay? And when they go into interviews, they're often very upset because they lost their vision. And normally during interviews, we put a large emphasis on body language and reading body language and taking in the atmosphere, and they no longer have that. So it makes them feel really insecure when they go into these interviews on how are they actually going to, secure the job against people like you and I who are fortunate to have our sight. Okay? So what we did was we modified the system for them and specifically focused on words, because each communication style has words that they use. Now, I can't go into all that today because we only have 5 minutes left. But if you think about, if they send you an email and there's no greeting on it, just a question, that's somebody who wants you to get straight to the point. You respond straight to the point. Don't send them 19,000 how-to-dos. They will not do it. They will get frustrated. They'll open up the email and go, that's absolutely ridiculous, and they'll toss it out. And then they'll mark you off as you are no help. Understand? If they ask for a question, try to focus your answer as quickly as possible. If there's somebody like when they call on the phone and they're like, hi, how are you? How are you doing? And it takes them a little bit before they even get to their question. That's somebody who wants to build connection. Build the connection. If you don't have time to build the connection, either don't answer the phone or tell them that you'll call them back because you really want to hear what they have to say when you have more time. They'll appreciate that. Make sense? All right. If it's somebody who's asking you how, I don't understand, explain me how, and they're caught up in the perpetual, procrastination, they're stuck because they don't have enough details. These are the people when they go to put IKEA furniture together, they actually read all the instructions first. They line up all their, hardware. They put everything out in order. They read the instructions again. And then if there's a piece left over at the end, it drives them crazy. Make sense? So they need details. You want to give those people that long email. All right? Does that help? All right, excellent. All right, so what I have known, whether I have been in prisons to boardrooms, is that communication is a challenge for everybody. It does not matter what your position or title is. If you have a problem in communication in your staff or in your business, you lose somewhere. You lose good employees, you lose good clients, you lose money, you lose profitability, and you lose a lot of peace in your world. Because if you don't have enough clients and staff and all those things, you're not having peace in your world. Is that true? Right? All right, fantastic. So I want to show you why we're all important as I bring this into a close. First of all, we need people, I'm going to stick to doctors and doctors' offices at this moment. But I know that there's other people who are listening and watching this. I just want you to take the same concept and apply it to your business, okay? So we need the doctors in the offices to have the big picture of people's health and how to design a plan around getting them healthy, right? You need the people like nurses and your front desk staff to take care of those people when they're in the office. You need your marketing department to go out there and tell people why you are excellent at what you do. And then you need your HR or your manager to keep the systems running correctly. See, everybody has an important role, and we all bring something important to the table. Where we get caught up on is why we don't like people instead of figuring out of what are they bringing as an asset to make me better. For me, my personal challenge is the template communication style. I'm not really good at grammar. I write for a living, right? I used to think, well, if you're going to dismiss me for a comma, then I don't need you anyhow. Really? When I started practicing what I teach, one person, 100 people, 100 people, 100 people, I need you. I'm going to go back to grammar school. I'm going to hire a really good editor. See, I don't need to become excellent in that. Dorothy and I were talking about this earlier. I just need to pick my lane and stay good at what I am, and then I can hire the people who are good at what they do. Make sense? All right. We all win when we work together, all the time. So what are the possibilities? I'm going to share one more quick story with you. I had a woman in one of my corporate trainings. I have clients who sign me on for a year contract, and we go in and do all sorts of work together. And they thought that I was coming in to train their staff in creating a corporate culture that communicates effectively, which we did. I'm not a one-and-done kind of girl. I build relationships with my clients because I don't put Band-Aids on things. I want to fix things and move a needle. Does that make sense? So as I'm teaching and working with them, the first module, which is my chat communication style, where they learn how to master that, it's a deep dive, intensive class. And she comes back the next time I'm there, the next quarter, and she shares with me a story about how she's an action communication style and she married a template. So now what originally attracted them, because he was so secure, I love that he was always there. And he thought, she's so much fun, right? And then they get married. And then she's like, oh my God, he's always trying to put me in a box, telling me how I could spend my money. He drives me crazy, right? And then he's like, oh my God, she drives me crazy because she's spending all our money and we're not going to have anything for retirement. She was taking it personally, that he was trying to take her freedom away. And all he was trying to do was make sure that when they retire, they have a quality life. 6 and 9. 6 and 9. And when they had that conversation, that aha moment, because she came home from work that day and said, honey, 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 I know what you are. You're a template. And it opened this dialogue between the two of them, right? So now she realizes that he's not really trying to torture her. Right? And they make up this plan that she's going to get 10% of her income to play with every single month. And now they're both happy. And why do I share that story with you? My corporate client hired me to build a corporate culture. She also received the benefit personally. But when she comes into work, she's no longer distracted by home, which makes her a much more productive employee. It is a win-win across the board. So I ask you, as I close, what could the possibilities be for you? What could the possibility be for your organization, your office, your patients, your customers? What would your life look like? How much more peace would you have? Thank you.
Wow, that was really good. And I think something that we can all benefit and go home knowing a little bit more, not only about ourselves and our communication style, but on the different clients and prospects and coworkers and all of those sort of things so that we can be more efficient and effective and confident in what we do. So thank you very much for that. That was great.